Good evening, Facebook Live. Apostle Terrence Lyons of Ecclesia Ministries here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Coming to you on tonight, bringing you tonight's Bible study. Pray that everyone is doing well. As you can see, it is a little late. This one's definitely a barn burner because it has been a day. Quite the day. So give me just a minute here. We'll get locked in. Y'all forgive my tardiness, but we gonna rock and roll for sure tonight. Y'all forgive my tardiness, but we gonna rock and roll for sure tonight. We're gonna do that. Tonight. We're gonna do that. All right. Good evening there, sis. Good evening there, Prophetess Tanisha. Definitely gonna be ready to stir it up tonight. Hopefully, you can already see by the question that it's gonna be well lit tonight. Pray that everybody has been navigating the weather well here in the Middle Tennessee area. Good evening there, Overseer Melissa. Having to deal with snow and ice, all of that good stuff last week, and then now this week, plenty of extra rain and flood and whole 9 yards. So it's all good. We just get the umbrella, the poncho, the boat, galoshes, all of that fun stuff. But we for sure gonna light it up tonight. As I have been preparing for this week and getting things in place, been, like I said, quite the challenge. Different things, time-wise. Other people having things going on with them. It's quite a few different things that's stirring the pot. And again, I know that's part of the season. This is the 11th month. I'm gonna make some reference to that tonight. Reconfirm a date for you. Put those things in place. But the reason that I need to make sure that you're aware of this is because the reason that our question is what it is tonight is because, like I told you last week, you have got to be 1,000% authentic during this time. Are you lying about your feelings? And some people would probably, first go to relationship and things of that nature, and that it fits that as well. But I'm addressing this question about you as an individual. I'm addressing the question in such a way that I'm wanting to make sure that you haven't been lying to yourself about your feelings. Because see, what's been going on is some of you have been lying to yourself about your own feelings. And when you are doing that, you are bringing everybody else in on a lie that you're living, only so that they cannot treat you like you're desiring to be treated because you're lying to yourself about your own feelings. Oh, we going in. We going in, like, for real, cause I am sick of what I have been seeing in the body of Christ. And it's one thing to see it in the world, but when you start seeing Christians and leaders, Christian leaders functioning like this, it, it's even worse. Um, and the reason this is so vital is because, again, we're still dealing with transitioning from religion to kingdom. Still searching for kingdom consistency, still putting things in place to solidify who we are in Christ so that you can get consistent results time after time. And the reason that I'm driving this home so much is because, again, when I told you last week that you will be the most miserable that you've ever been if you're not honest about what you truly feel in this time and season, I meant that. That was not just me trying to make an impactful statement. And if this week hasn't proven to you that there's going to be different things trying you on every level, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to show you. Because as we get ready to dig in to what we're going to dig into tonight, you're going to realize that lying to yourself about your feelings is probably one of the worst things that you can do. And you're going to get a lot of answers to a lot of questions that you probably had about yourself after tonight. You've probably been wondering, well, why can't things go well for me? Why can't I get a break? Why can't I get these things? In all actuality and in all likelihood, you probably been lying to yourself about your feelings. And like I said, we're gonna hit some heavy stuff tonight because I want you to understand, um, in order to address what needs to be addressed, I can't tiptoe around the things that are going to be talked about. I don't think we're going to need a parental discretion, but it's probably going to be painful nonetheless. So I want to start out in the book of Hebrews, chapter 4, and verse 15. Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 15. And then we're going to skip over to Matthew 26. So here's I, I, did- I was just informed I probably should have gave an I love you first. Let me just throw a blanket I love you out here because, again, there's a lot of stuff that I got to talk about and address right here. So in Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 15, it says, "For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin." The reason that this is so vital for you is because I want you to understand this. I want you to understand how there are things that are transpiring from this specific passage. So in verse 14, you don't have to put this on here, sis, but I want you to see something. In verse 14, it says, seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession. So what it's saying is let us hold fast our acknowledging of who he is for us. And this is why this is so vital. Because everything that we're functioning by with this right here. Because when he says let's hold fast to our acknowledgement, and then in verse 15 goes and says, for we have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities. So in other words, it's not that he hasn't experienced or felt what we felt. It's that we haven't acknowledged him about what we're feeling. So I want you to type this in. I need to acknowledge him about my feelings, or put it this way. I need to let him know about my feelings. Just put it like that. I need to let him know about my feelings. See, because it's not that he don't know your feelings. What he's wanting is, can we get on one accord about your feelings? Can we deal with the same thing about your feelings? Because I want you to understand this. See, what I want you to get is this. Our first point is feel your feelings, but don't function by them. Feel your feelings, but don't function by them. See, and that's part of why you need to let him know about what you're feeling. See, because until you let him know about what you're feeling, watch this. Just a second here. Until you let him know about your feelings, I want you to get this. You are trying to manage what you feel by yourself. And you're going to lie to yourself about your feelings if you don't let him know about your feelings. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Lions, what you talking about? So let me explain something to you. Now let's look at Matthew. Watch this. Let's look at Matthew 26, verses 36 through 46. This right here is very crucial to understand. Matthew 26, verse 36, starting out and going through 46, says this. Watch this. Matthew 26, verse 36 through 46 says this right here. It says, then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, sit ye here, while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. And some of you might have felt that a little bit last week and this week. Felt a little heaviness start to try to settle in on you. It says, then saith he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. And he went a little further, fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. So again, this is Jesus going to our Father and letting him know about what he is feeling in the moment that he is in. Understand what's fixing to happen here. So in verse 40 it says, and he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, What? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went again, he went away again, the second time, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to his disciples, saith unto them, Sleep on now, take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. I want you to understand what that's saying. He's being put into the hands of some folks that don't know his mark. See, and what you've been encountering is you've been encountering a bunch of people that don't know your mark. That's why it's been going the way that it's been going, is because the people that have been around you in the corporate world, the people that have been in certain areas of your life, they haven't known your mark. Now, the problem with that is they probably may never know your mark, and they probably may never know the level of that mark that you're designed to be a target for. But this is what I want you to get. They may never know that mark, but it's your job still to let the Father know about your feelings. Now, what some of you have done, I love you, but what some of you have done is instead of letting the Father know about your feelings, you've been letting others know about your feelings. You've been letting other people know about your feelings instead of letting him know about your feelings. That's why I wanted you to understand you got to let him know about your feelings. See, because you need to feel your feelings, but don't function by them. So the issue is, when I feel what I feel, don't try to put that away. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to downplay it. Don't try to water them down. Don't try to do just don't. You're like, wait a minute, Lions, what are you saying? Are you saying just go off the handle all the time? No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying respond to them just yet. It's going to come a time that you do need to respond to your feelings, but the first thing you need to do is feel them. So y'all type this in for me. Feel your feelings before you respond to them. Feel your feelings before you respond to them. I'm going to let that sink in a little bit. Let you marinate in that a little bit. Feel your feelings before you respond to them. That's why you can't function by them. See, your feelings are designed to help you, not hurt you. And I apologize to the body of Christ at large for anybody that has been taught or told to ignore your feelings. Because that as grandma would say, that don't even make walking around sense. The Father gave us feelings to feel. And if you are constantly ignoring them, how is that going to be helpful to you? That is not going to be helpful to you. So the key is feel your feelings before you respond to them. you're going to have to identify what it is that you're really feeling. Because the problem is, in most cases, you've been responding before you truly understood what you were feeling. Men are real bad about this because men are usually responding in anger about fear. They're afraid, but instead of just making crystal clear about what they're afraid of, they respond in anger so that they can try to override that fear. It's not every man, but that's what happens in a lot of the cases. The reason that this is so important is because women, don't think I'm finna skip over you. You cry over things that actually hurt you. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong, but if you'll identify the hurt and what actually hurt, then you probably wouldn't even cry. Just like if the men would identify what they were really scared of, then they probably wouldn't be responding in anger. The reason that I want you to understand this, let me go ahead and get digging into this, because I feel that this is going to help break through for some of you. A lot of the times that men shut down in anger, again, usually they're just afraid to talk about what really is being presented. I'm not saying every time. I'm just saying a lot of the time. So when they shut down and they don't want to talk and they don't want to do those things, I'm not talking about them having their alone time. I'm talking about if that's something that's happening all the time. If they're shutting down all the time because they're mad and they're saying that they're mad, it's only because there's something that they're afraid of. Whether it be failure or whether it be something undisclosed that they don't want to talk. I'm just trying to help somebody right here. The reason that I need you to understand this and why this is so crucial is because when you're seeing Jesus right here go address with the Father what he felt, after he addresses with the Father what he felt, he's then able to move on okay without the support of others. That right there is fixing to help somebody right there. The reason you haven't been able to go ahead in a lot of cases is because you haven't expressed what you felt to the Father yet. And since you haven't expressed it to the Father yet, you don't have the ability to move on beyond it. So you're still looking for the support of others before you will go ahead and step into what you know you're designed to step into. This is why this is so important, because again, are you lying about your feelings? I'm talking about, are you lying to yourself about your own feelings? When you start responding before you even truly identify what you're feeling, you're lying to yourself. This is why I want you to get this. So now let's go to Matthew 28. In Matthew 28, verses 1 through 9, I want you to see something very, very, very important right here. Like I said, all of this that we're touching on, we'll touch on it again on Saturday. But I need for you to get this part right here, because as the old folks say and the old folks know about, I got to get the pump primed right here. So we priming the pump right here tonight. So this is what I need you to get. In Matthew 28, verses 1 through 10, no, excuse me, 1 through 9, it says this. It says, in the end of the Sabbath. So again, it's giving us a time frame. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the women, fear not ye, for I know that you seek Jesus, which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come, see the place where the Lord lay, and go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. And behold, he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall you see him. Lo, I have told you. So again, I want you to understand, this angel is causing some fear. He's shaking some stuff up. Got him shook. Got him shook to the core. Can't say that I wouldn't have been in the same position, same thought process, same feelings. But here's what you got to understand about this, and this is why this is showing us this. Because I'm about to show you something very important that kind of touches on what I said earlier about men responding when they're in anger, when they're actually hurt. Women responding with crying when they're hurt. Because I'm going to show you something that most people probably haven't showed you, haven't paid attention to probably, but I want to show this to you. Because the reason some of you flip-flop, I love you, and it's not a bad thing. Don't take what I'm fixing to say as a bad thing. But the reason that some of you flip-flop is because you're experiencing more than one emotion at the same time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Say, Lions, what you talking about? See, because the church has tried to, you can't be in faith and in fear at the same time. Kinda. Yeah, Lions said that. Apostle Lions said that. I'm coming to you in the authority of who God has given me, and I'm saying that to you before I read this next scripture to you so that you will be aware of why things have been happening with you the way they've been happening with you. Why you've been seeming like you're wavering with things, and it's all because you're experiencing dual emotions and nobody showed you how to identify, clarify, and then get one way. I'm about to show you. Because it goes on and it says, go quickly, tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. Behold, he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall you see him. Lo, I have told you. And they departed quickly from the sepulchre. Watch this. With fear and great joy. Doesn't say fear or great joy. It says fear and great joy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So y'all type that in for me. Fear and great joy. Want you to see this because are you lying about your feelings? Fear and great joy. So it's possible for you to have dual emotions at the same time in certain situations because it's bringing up stuff from different areas of life for you. So on the 1 minute, you're happy, but you're sad. 1 minute, you're like, you're angry, but then again, you're like, dang, I'm relieved. So you got this dual emotion thing that's going on, and when that starts to happen, trying to wrap your mind around it all of a sudden becomes a lot more difficult. So this is why I want you to get this. It says they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy. Watch this. And did run to bring his disciples word. So they're following the instructions of the angel, but it's telling us they got two different emotions that they're running in right now. It's like, yeah, we kind of happy, but wait a minute. What does this really mean? So that's what some of you have been fighting. You've been fighting dual emotions. Now, here's what you got to catch. In verse 9, it says, and as they went to tell his disciples. So they ain't got there yet. They ain't got there yet. And something happens before they get there. As they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them. Jesus met them, saying, all hail. And this is what you got to understand about that. See, all hail means be happy, be cheerful. And look at what he says. All hail, and they came and held him by the feet and worshiped him. And then I'm going to read verse 10 because it helps to clarify what I'm trying to show you. Because in verse 10 it says, then said Jesus unto them, be not afraid. So he's saying, latch on to that good cheer. Hold on to the great joy. Don't be afraid. Go tell my brethren that they go into Galilee and there they shall see me. So he's just confirming the same thing that the angel told him. But the issue is they've only got one emotion now. See, they held him by the feet. And there's so much right there that I don't even want to fool with it because I have to mess with too many folks' religious thought processes right there because he's allowing them to touch his feet right there. Just like he allowed, my gosh. Let me help y'all understand this. There had to have been presentation to the Father. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to touch him. So this right here happens even before the 8-day time frame. That happens whenever Thomas touches him. Again, I ain't got time, and I know this is messing with y'all's brain, but I got to show you about your feelings. I'm talking about your feelings. I'm trying to help you with your feelings. I'm trying to make sure you're not lying about your feelings. So I'm going to get back to our regularly scheduled program about your feelings because your feelings need to be in place before we get into these next few days. You need to know how to solidify and not lie to yourself about your feelings no more. So when he says, be not afraid, go tell my brethren that they go into Galilee and there shall they see me. They're being solidified into having one emotion right here. And see, that's what's got to go on when you're feeling those dual emotions. When you're feeling that 1 minute I'm up and I'm ready to take on the world, and then the next minute it's like, it feel like the world on top of me, and I just cannot go another step. I'm tired. I'm ready to throw in the towel. I don't even want to fool with this anymore. I'm tired of this relationship. I'm tired of this job. I'm tired of these kids. Don't lie. Don't lie about your feelings. I would never be tired of my kids. Quit. Stop. Stop. You ain't got, don't tell them that. Just not, don't go telling them that. But I know what you're feeling. Quit tripping. So y'all type that in, quit tripping. Because right now, in order to be real and stop lying about your feelings to yourself, you need to quit tripping. I'll never forget my grandmama telling me, boy, you will wear the ears off a brass monkey. That's the same one that told me that uses the saying of that don't make walking around sense. I remember what grandma said to me. So I understand. Kids get on your nerves. Like I said, don't tell them that. do not tell them that. You subject to mess up something, but quit tripping. You know they're getting on your nerves sometimes. You know they bother you. You know they like the chicken hawk, like foghorn leghorn with the chicken hawk. You bother me, boy. You bother me. So this is what I need you to understand. As we get ready for this second point, I want to show you something in verse 8 and 9. They departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy. But before they're allowed to interact with the disciples, Jesus meets them and gives them an encounter so that they can have good cheer. And this is why I need you to understand the second point, because remember, the first point is feel your feelings, but don't function by them. So my second point, is this. Mixed feelings never produce solid outcomes. Teach them, Lions. The reason you haven't been able to get a solid outcome in some things is because you still got mixed feelings about it. I love you. The reason that relationship ain't went the way that you wanted to go is because you still got mixed feelings about it. The reason things have not changed the way that you wanted them to change is because in all likelihood, you still got mixed feelings about it. The reason you ain't been able to make a decision about that job, whether or not it's time for you to go, because in one facet, you're like, man, this money is good. But on the other side, it's like, man, this job is killing me. So one day you good for it. And the next day, you're like, This is why you got to understand what happens in between verse 8 and 9 is that they are no longer in mixed feelings. They don't have fear and great joy. At that point, they got great joy now. They ain't scared no more. They've had an encounter. Jesus has met them right where they're at. And see, that's what he's wanting to do, is he's wanting to meet you right where you're at so that you can clarify your feelings. So that you can get to the point and get to the place to where you know without a shadow of a doubt what you really feel. So y'all type that question in for me. What do you really feel? See, because you got to quit lying about your feelings. You got to, if both of them are there, if both of them are, if you're feeling fear and great joy, you have to acknowledge that I'm on the fence about this. You got to acknowledge that you're on the fence about your feelings. You got to let God know, look here, I know what you said to me. I know what you spoke to me, but I'm questioning whether or not that's going to turn out like that right now. I really ain't sure. If I'm going to be honest, Lord, I'm feeling like you ain't even here right now. See, that's why I try to show y'all in the scriptures so much about what they had going on in their lives. Gideon, when he says quickly, he calls him a man of valor, and they're like, oh, look here. if the Lord with us, how come? Where's all of them promises that our fathers was talking about? Because this right here feel like you ain't with us. It's right here feel like that. No, no. This is why I'm wanting y'all to understand this. That's why I needed for you to see fear and great joy. It is possible for you to feel multiple emotions. The key is when you feel the multiples, even if you can't identify them, that's when you got to begin to go to God and say, look here, Lord, I'm on the fence about what I'm feeling. Help me figure out what I really feel. See, that's that right there just help somebody. Lord, help me to understand what I really feel. That's what Jesus is doing between verse 8 and 9 right there. Is he is giving them what they need in order to solidify, watch this, and ground them in the emotion that they need to function with from the rest of that time on. See, he doesn't allow them to encounter the disciples with both emotions, because that would have had them jacked up. Just like you've been jacked up. Because one minute you're happy about this and the next minute you're wondering why you even done it. And now, since you're fluctuating between them two, now you can't get solidified. See, this is why I need you to get this, because now I think I done laid a good enough foundation to go ahead and drop these last two bombs on you. So for our next scripture, let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 18 through 23. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 18 through 23. Says this right here. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 18 through 23. Just to give you a quick backdrop of what this is. So, David has cheated with Bathsheba. That's Uriah's wife. Instead of admitting it, backing off, David has Uriah killed, has him put in the front of the battle, has all of that taking place. As he has him killed, and then he takes Bathsheba to be the wife, she is pregnant from that encounter. And as she is pregnant from that encounter, a child has been born. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and I'm going to touch on this some more Saturday, but I need for y'all to understand. It seems crazy because it appears like that is the judgment that is against them. It's like, okay, the child dies, that should be it. That should be a done deal. That shouldn't even be a relationship anymore. But from the same two people, the only difference is their repentance. But from the same two people from which a child dies from what they've done, from those same two people, the smartest man to walk the face of the earth, the wisest man to walk the face of the earth, is born from them same two people. So there's some things to think about with that. I ain't come to touch that tonight. I'm trying to deal with, are you lying about your feelings? So this is what I need you to get. So I was telling you that to help you understand. Child was a product of that happening. Uriah's killed. Then that child is what this passage is talking about. So let me explain to you and read it to you, and then I'm going to give you our third point. It says, "It came to pass on the seventh day that the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, We spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? So while the child was still living but was sick, because God struck the child was sick as a result of how David had done things, how he had managed that situation. So it's like, no, child dies. Up until the child dies, David's fasting. David's trying to believe God to turn the life around for this child, to turn the sickness around. Don't let this child die. He's praying, he's fasting, he's doing all of those things. His servants are trying to get him to stand up. They're trying to get him, saying, "Come on, man, you got to move past this. You gotta keep moving. You should." He's like, he keeps laying down. He keeps staying spread out, fasting. He's praying. He's doing all of that. So then the child dies. David catches them whispering amongst each other and having this conversation. And let's look at what happens. It says, "But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead." So he confirms. He doesn't just feel. Watch this. He confirms. This is what's messing some of y'all up. You won't confirm. You just keep going by your feeling. Light bulb just went off for somebody. You just keep going by what you're feeling. Confirm it. Ask. Be straightforward. Be point blank. So y'all type that in for me. Be point blank. When you're in, just ask. But see, here's the issue. Some of you too scared. But I need you to type that in. Be point blank. See, that's what David does right there. He's like, all right, they over there whispering. Child's probably dead. So you just flat out ask, is the child dead? Is the child dead? So when he asked that, look at what happens. They said, he is dead. Verse 20, then David arose from the earth and washed, watch this, and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord and worshiped. Then he came to his own house, and when he required, watch this, they set bread before him, and he did eat. Now wait a minute, hold up. You're fasting, you're doing all of these different things, and now you was doing that, and you wouldn't even talk to us. But now that the child's died, now you ready to talk, you ready to eat, you ready to do everything. Look at what happens. This is why I need for y'all to catch this. Verse 21, it says, then said his servants unto him, what thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep. He said you crying and not eating when the child was living and sick. And doing that for the child while it was alive. But when the child is dead, thou didst rise and eat bread. Like, David, you're backwards. David, you're tripping. David, you done lost your mind. Look at what happens. It says, and he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, who can tell whether God will be gracious to me that the child may live? He's saying, I know what I was told. I know what Nathan the prophet told me. He said, but I was just praying that God might just change his mind. And then look at what he says. Verse 23. But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. Whew. So here, this is what I need you to catch. David understands he's not coming back to me, but I can go where he's at. But in order to do that, I got to move on from this moment and not lie to myself about my feelings no more. See, that's what you got to do. You can't lie to yourself about your feelings no more. I know that circumstance has been one way for a long time. I know it's been, but the reason it's probably been going that way for a long time is because you've been lying about your feelings about it. You ain't been being point blank about it. You ain't been being straightforward about it. So this is what I need for you to get about this third point. Never say what you should or shouldn't feel, watch this, until you properly address what you actually feel. Never say what you should or shouldn't feel. See, I've watched this over a time period in my years of being by people's side whenever they've lost loved ones. I've seen people rejoice. I've seen people weep and want to jump in the casket with them. I have seen people not want to eat. I have seen people not want to talk. I have seen people who move on like nothing ever happened. And they were legitimately fine and still legitimately fine to this day. So I've watched it go multiple ways. I've seen different people feel different things. And that's why you can't let nobody tell you what you should feel about any given situation. Now, I'm not telling you to stay in a broken state. That ain't what I'm telling you. What I am telling you is you cannot know for a fact what you would feel until you feel it. That's why I have coined the phrase for so many years. Feelings are fair, but don't stay there. I don't care if it's the best feeling ever. I don't care if it's the worst feeling ever. It's still fair no matter what you feel. The key is understand that there is a way that you're going to come up if it's the worst you've ever felt. And there's a way that it's going to dwindle down if it's the best you've ever felt. Don't feel bad when you go from feeling good to not feeling as good, because that's part of the process. Time and chance happen to us all. And you don't know what you're going to feel at a specific time concerning a specific thing until it actually happens and you feel it. So this is why you have to understand that you should never say what you should or shouldn't feel until you properly address what you actually feel. See, I can't tell, and then it, again, I told y'all we got to address some stuff in order for you to understand this. So if I encounter a child that don't cry when their parent dies, I can't tell that child that they should be crying if their parent was abusing them. I can't tell that child what they should or shouldn't be feeling. I can't tell that spouse. I can't tell whoever. See, you got to understand. It is your job to feel your feelings. Type that in for me. It's your job to feel your feelings. Woo! I felt something on that one. It's your job to feel what you feel. And don't lie to yourself. Stop lying to yourself about what you feel because you've got in your head, I shouldn't feel this way. No, stop that. Stop that right here, right now, today. Do not put any expectation or level on what you should or shouldn't be feeling in any given situation. It is your job to feel what you feel. Nobody else's. So as a parent, don't you dare tell your child, well, you shouldn't be feeling like that. That's just puppy love. Well, if you haven't given them real love before, that might have been the first time that they really felt like they were really in love. Oh, yeah, I went there. I just said that. If you as a parent haven't given them real love, that relationship, once it broke off, that's what they thought real love felt like. So you as a parent, oh, that was just puppy love. It might have been the real thing to them because you haven't ever given them the real thing. I told y'all, I am just coming with this one. The reason that I need you to get this is because to David's servants, it looked like he done things backwards. And that's what it's going to look like sometimes when you truly get in touch with your feelings. When you truly finally figure out how you process your feelings and what you truly feel, it's going to look backwards to some folks. Because to them, they're going to be thinking, well, you should be feeling like this. Well, you should be feeling like that. I feel what I feel. And see, the issue is that a lot of people just have not even gotten close to getting in touch with their feelings. So they keep going by, watch this, what somebody else told them that they should be feeling. Them days is over. Them days is over. Can nobody tell you how to feel or what you should be feeling after a divorce or during a divorce? Say, but they was abusive. You should feel it. Can't nobody tell you what you should feel. What you should feel out of any given situation. This right here is why that's so important. Some people, once animals pass, it hurts them. They cry. Some people, animals pass, it don't bother them. There are so many different angles about so many different things. But it is your job to feel whatever you feel about whatever circumstance you're dealing with. So now I want to get to this last point, get to these last couple of scriptures, and we're going to get ready to get out of here for Saturday. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 17 through 25 says this. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 17 through 25 says this. It says, "This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that you henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated," watch this, "from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling, have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But you have not so learned Christ. If so be that you have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus, that you put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another." Now watch verse 25 and then verse 18. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart. Here's why I need you to understand this from this standpoint. Then I'm going to read to you Zechariah 1, verses 1 through 17, before I give you this last point. But the reason that I wanted you to see those is because in verse 25, when it says putting away lying, again, some of you have lied to yourself about what you feel because you have been thinking that what others told you is what you should be feeling. So you've been pursuing that instead of actually addressing before you and God, what are you really feeling? So this is why I need you to get this. In Zechariah 1, verses 1 through 17, it says this. Zechariah 1, verses 1 through 17, says this. It says, in the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, son of Iddo the prophet, saying, the Lord hath been sore displeased with your fathers. Therefore say thou unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye unto me, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will turn unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. Verse 4, be ye not as your fathers. See, some of you are trying to feel things and experience things based upon what your parents showed you, based upon what your parents said to you, based upon what your parents put on display. So you have been functioning by that. Be ye not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye now from your evil ways and from your evil doings. But they did not hear nor hearken unto me, saith the Lord. Your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? But my words and my statutes, which I commanded my servants the prophets, did they not take hold of your fathers? And they returned and said, like as the Lord of hosts thought to do unto us, according to our ways and according to our doings, so hath he dealt with us. Upon the 24th day of the 11th month. That's going to be February the 3rd. That's going to be not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Upon the 24th day of the 11th month, which is the month Shevat, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo the prophet, saying, I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood upon among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him were red horses, speckled and white. Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I will show thee what these be. Verse 10 through 17 is the key that I want you to catch here. Goes on, and it says, and the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, these are they whom the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro through the earth. And they answered the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees and said, we have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest. Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? And the Lord answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, watch this, cry thou, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous of Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. Verse 15. And I am sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. Uh-oh. I am sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. Cry yet, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and the Lord shall yet comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem. Here's what I need you to understand as we get ready to close, and I give you this last point. By February the 3rd, you'll have a standard by which you will no longer lie about your feelings to yourself. By February the 3rd, I'm telling you now, there will be a standard established by which you will no longer lie to yourself about your feelings. The reason I am saying this, the reason I am laying this out, when it says in verse 15, I'm sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. This is why I got to get you to understand this. In verse 16, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. In other words, I'm about to set a standard. Everything that you see going on right now across the entire country is about a standard getting set. When the scripture says that the father was sore displeased with their fathers, the reason I needed you to understand and the reason I wanted you to read all of these verses, because if you go back and you look at this, his initial talking starts in the 8th month. I told you we're in the 11th month and we're coming up on the 24th and coming up on the end of that month. So for a total of 3 months, there was a standard being set. Things have been being shook up for the past 3 months. Things have been shifting for the past 3 months. Because he's trying to, watch this, get rid of the fear and great joy, the anger and the sadness, the anger and the hurt. All of those things, he's like, okay, I'm allowing y'all to see a whole bunch of different stuff. And it's been taking your emotions all over the place. You've been feeling dual emotions and multiple things. But by February 3rd, there'll be a standard set. By the time we get to that point, that 24th day, it's at that point you're about to see some things get clarified. This is why that's so important, because this is my last point. Until you clarify your feelings, watch this, you can't solidify your stance. Until you clarify your feelings, you cannot solidify your stance. Some of you have been trying to get things solidified, and it just ain't seemed to have been working. It's because you ain't clarified your feelings about it. You ain't clarified your feelings about how you want things to go. You haven't went to the Father and you haven't asked him, Lord, what am I really feeling right here? You're the one that manufactured me. Show me what I'm really feeling. Show me why I'm struggling with this. Show me why I'm having a problem sleeping. Show me why I'm having a problem feeling this within the relationship. Show me why I'm having this about this job. Show me what I am feeling concerning the kids. Show me what I'm feeling about where I'm living. Show me. Until you clarify your feelings, you can't solidify your stance. So everything that you see going on, how you really feel about it. See, some of you are still trying to feel spiritually what you feel your pastor has told you what you should be feeling. You should be feeling on fire. You should be wanting souls saved. Clarify your feelings, because you might not have been built for that. What you might have been built for is training people and leading them into maturity, not getting them saved. I had to understand that. I had to clarify that for myself. Because there was a time in my life that I was like, man, I ain't even really baptized that many people. I guess I better get on the ball and start trying to baptize. The Lord said, who told you that? That ain't what I built you for. One of the things you want to understand is Jesus didn't baptize a lot of people either. Read your Bible. It's in there. So you got to understand what really goes on. And are you lying to yourself about your feelings? Are you lying because you think you should be doing something that God didn't even tell you should be doing? Have you not found out what target you're supposed to be hitting? Don't be upset because you don't feel what everybody else is feeling. Because he just, more than likely, built you for something different. In all likelihood, it wasn't even meant for you to be going down that road that you're trying to force yourself down. Trying to take that pathway. Trying to do things in a specific way that he ain't even told you to do them. Ain't even got biblical reference for it, and you still trying to follow it because I ain't gonna go there right now. Point number 1, feel your feelings, but don't function by them. Point number 2, mixed feelings never produce solid outcomes. Point number 3, never say what you should or shouldn't feel until you properly address what you feel. Point number 4, until you clarify your feelings, you can't solidify your stance. Saturday morning, exclusive ecclesia, around about 10:30ish. If you have not become a part of exclusive ecclesia, all you got to do is send me a message, type exclusive, I'll send you an invite. All you got to do is accept it. Boom, you're a part of exclusive ecclesia. Or if whoever invited you to this page for you to see us on tonight, then all you have to do is say, hey, if you're an exclusive ecclesia, add me, because it's set up like that. You can add whoever desires to be a part of it. But I want you to understand the importance of this moment that we're in. To know what came against me all this week and all today, to just try to throw me off, to not be able to get these 4 points to you, I know without a shadow of a doubt this one's going to be a life changer. I pray that these 4 points that I've covered tonight in the scriptures that we've given have already primed the pump so that you're ready to no longer lie to yourself about your feelings. I pray that you are at a place that you truly want to be yourself. that you truly are ready to solidify your stance concerning yourself. Because as you step into this and as you walk into this, you're going to solidify and begin to function in kingdom consistency. Because that's what the whole goal of this year's series has been. So as we close it down tonight, begin to get ready for Saturday, be true to yourself. I see a lot of people are fighting against that kind of statement right now because they're following the religious zealots of this moment. And the problem is that they haven't been being in touch with their true selves. So you keep following them religious zealots, even if that's been your parents, even if that's been Auntie and them, grandmama and them, whoever in them. If you are not being true to you in this moment right here, like I said last week, you are about to be more miserable than you have ever been. I don't want nobody miserable. That's why I am saying what I'm saying the way I'm saying it. If you keep choosing to follow them and them's, mama and them, grandmama and them, if you just so set on continuing to follow and them's, what you won't be able to say is that nobody flat out tell me that I needed to quit following them. I said it right here, right now. Quit following them religious zealots. I don't care if they pastors and I'm not telling you not follow any pastor. If they are not following the truth of the Most High God and telling you to get sensitive in the spirit to following what God has given you as an individual to do, yeah, I'm telling you, don't listen to them right now. Because this pocket of time is about to lay out some stuff that y'all are going to finally realize, yeah, it's really time for the kingdom of heaven to be at hand. I love you guys. Thank you for your time tonight. Be true to your feelings. Don't lie to yourself about your own feelings. Y'all have a blessed rest of the evening. Peace.